Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
There you go, team. Good morning. Good morning, everyone tuning in this morning. Wealth Coffee Chats, Property Management Edition. A bit of an up and down start for me in 2025, team. I've sort of, I think I missed last week. Apologies for that, but I am back traveling on planes and in hotels. You know how it works. So that was me last week. My colleague Brennan stepped in. So thank you to him. And thanks for tuning in today, guys. Property Management Edition, as I say, if you haven't met me before, my name's Cass Shosted, representing the Property Management Group, part of the 6-star team. Hope you're well. Hope you've got a coffee. We're going to get stuck into today's conversation, which is, again, another story from me to you out in the marketplace. We're going to talk about today. I'm going to share exactly what it looks like, word for word, that I found out there in the marketplace. And then, together we can have a bit of a chat about that. And of course, hopefully get some lessons as well. So as we do, team, if you haven't been around here before, every Wednesday, Property Management Chats, we talk about how to hold property for the long term as part of your 6-star group. And obviously any questions throughout the next sort of 10 or so minutes, pop it in the chat. Love a bit of banter. Always good to hear from you guys and what your experiences are. I learn just as much from you guys as it might be the other way around. So a few of the regulars jumping on. Chris, morning to you, mate. Bunty as well. And Luke, a bit of a shout out before I kick off, team. If you are around in Melbourne or Brisbane tonight, there is a pop-up mentoring. If you're in Brisbane, Mr. Jason Witten is hosting that one down in Melbourne. Tabitha Bride and Riley and the team will be there. So if you haven't heard about it, if you potentially, got the night off and you're looking for something to do and come hang out and connect with the 6-star team, I suggest you jump in the group, hit the links that's been posted, and certainly come along. It'll be really good. But stay tuned. There will be a pop-up mentoring near you coming soon. Chris says, morning, see you tonight. Good stuff, team. We'll be around. I don't think I'll be at the Melbourne one, Chris. No, I'll be at the Brisbane one, clearly. But we'll have some of the property management team there. So good stuff, team. All right, let's rip in, team. Today's episode, today's conversation. Here's how the wrong property manager will send you to court. No joke. This is what I saw yesterday in a landlord chat group. Really interesting. If you haven't joined one of them on your socials, definitely recommend it. You'll certainly learn a lot. I certainly do each week. And this one is all about how the wrong property manager on your team can potentially send you to court. In this case, it looks like this one is heading down that path. So question from me to you guys to kick off today is, has anyone here had experience with tribunals, anyone had a tenancy gone wrong, you've ended up in your tribunal, depending which state you are, VCAT, QCAT, NCAT, for that matter. Maybe you've had a magistrate's court hearing. Love to hear how that experience went for you, because here's what I'm going to do today is share exactly this story that I saw. So hopefully you guys can see that on your screen. I've zoomed in as much as I can. Maybe a bit of a yes in the chat if you can see that okay. Can you hear me okay? Hopefully you can. We'll run through this as quick as we can, I suppose. Got a lot of pop-ups on the screen at the moment, team, so hopefully I can read this quite clearly. But essentially, team, hey, this is the experience of this landlord. Hey, they had tenants in their investment property for almost 5 years. They were great for the most part, but for the last 18 months, they fell in and out of arrears. We decided to sell. Now, I'm making an assumption here. There were some challenges along the way, team. So, hey, they decided to sell, and that's suggested by the real estate team. We sent out all the correct documentation for the tenancy and for them to leave, so a notice to vacate. However, there was a change in circumstances. We decided not to sell. However, it was suggested by our property management team that we could release it, and we did it without advertising to a preferred tenant on their database, which they did. Here's the thing: the house was leased within a 6 months time frame. It was not allowed. Previous tenants found out, and they approached us. They approached the real estate office about it, and the property manager then proceeded to apply via VCAT. So this is a property down in Victoria for those listening, and they applied via the tribunal to have an exemption and have the matter passed, basically. Now that was thrown out by the tribunal as they did not seek permission prior, and it was against law, basically, right? They released the home within the 6 months time frame after providing the tenant with a notice to vacate with the reason they were going to sell. We have now received, there's now been a letter sent from the lawyers on behalf of the real estate team to the tenancy saying they do not legally represent us, and they said they will not be engaging in any compensation moving forward. And yeah, it's going to magistrate's court for compensation. So the tenants in this case have come back and they've said, hey, you have not met the law, the legislation requirements. We want compensation. The question here is asking, hey, well, I need some advice. Should we settle? Should we fight it? The property manager is not really helping. Should they bear any responsibility with this situation? Here's the kicker, team. The owner here still has the same property manager managing their property. So I don't know about you guys. Morning, Carolyn. Carolyn might love this story. Let me know in the chat, Carolyn, if this relates. But I don't know about you guys, but reading this one was quite a cracker. I thought there's so many red flags. There's so many questions I have, and how we ended up in this situation in the first place, team. Really, really interesting story. Now we can make some assumptions here, and if we go to the start, you might notice and go, hey, there's a bit of a red flag there. The tenant was in and out of arrears for 18 months. Now, maybe they weren't at a level where the property manager and owner could serve breach notices. So let's assume that was the case. This went on for 18 months. You would assume a lease was re-signed in that period. So potentially some standards, some expectations, some process wasn't followed in this place. Hey, maybe it comes down to the tenant selection, but hey, they've been there for 5 years. We give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, we're going to make an assumption here as well that, hey, they maybe needed to sell. Maybe it was the interest rate rises. Maybe it was increased holding costs. Maybe it was just, the local real estate agent saying, hey, I can get you more money. Maybe that was the case, right? But this situation arose where they said, hey, we've had enough. So for me, I see this time and time again, team. Time and time again. I was going into my 14th year. My first year, I experienced it, and I'm still experiencing it now, as we see on the screen. You as the investor, don't put yourself in a position where your only choice is to give up and sell the property. We say sell strategically, and that's what we really mean. In this part, there was, maybe one or two hurdles, one or two challenges, and the decision was made to sell, potentially getting the wrong advice. Now, for whatever reason, that turned around. They didn't sell the property, but here's the kicker. The property manager in this case did not clearly explain what is correct process, what is law, right? What is law, where you cannot just serve a tenant notice to vacate and then try to release it within a 6 month period. Now, the 6 month period, just so you guys know, kicks in from when the notice is sent. So it still would have been a few months for that owner to wait. Now, could you argue the property manager, well, I don't think we can argue. I think they clearly didn't provide the right information, right? But you could sort of know from the landlord side of things, they might not have been aware. They clearly weren't aware of what's what. I think that's why you engage a property manager, right? So there's a few things that have gone wrong here and has put this owner in a bit of a vulnerable situation. Now, when we talk about tribunal, in this case, the property manager said, hey, I'll go to VCAT, I'll get an exemption. That was clearly not going to happen. Clearly the member ruled, no, see you later. You've gone against process, you've gone against law in that case. Now, what's going to happen now? The tenant is still after compensation. And as per law, from my perspective, outside looking in on this matter, looks like they're going to get it, team. Looks like they're going to get it. And so as the property manager, what are you going to do now? As the landlord, what should you do now? I think Carolyn's nailed it on the head, and that's my point today is go get a new PM, right? Go get a new PM. It's honestly staggering that this particular owner, unfortunately, again, we don't know all the circumstances and all context, but outside looking in, you would suggest that, hey, I think the property managers maybe gone and presented a bit of negligence, maybe just unaware, maybe just uneducated, whatever the case may be. But team, this is what you don't want. Clearly, I think you guys know this by now, but your property managers can certainly help you influence and look after your future, look after your asset, help you hold that property for a longer period of time. In here, you can see there's probably 3, 4, 5 scenarios, red flags, challenges, issues, right, that has led to this situation and could have been stopped from the start. So where do you go from here now? Where do you go from here? Do you fight it, right? One of the questions is, do we just go and fight it? Team, when you get to whether it's your local tribunal, magistrates court, in this case down in Victoria, excuse me, team, what's up in my eyes, like a fly in there. Sorry about that. But team, when you get to this situation, the fact of the matter is, the law's not on your side in this particular case for this investor. The easiest, the smartest, the best thing to do here is to just settle the matter, walk away, move on with your life. Now, what is that cost and what is that compensation going to be? Well, that's going to be up to the member and some negotiation, I would imagine. But essentially, the tenant has been told to leave under false pretenses. Potentially, they have, put some expenses on the table with removalists and all that sort of stuff. So all those things are going to come into account in this matter. If that was me as the property manager, I would certainly recommend to just settle the matter and move on. And then to Caroline's point, yes, get a new property manager. If I knew this owner, I promise you, I would call them and give them this advice. They need to move on in this matter. So team, it's all about the 6-star team. It's about having the right team around you to avoid these situations. My job on a Wednesday is to come and, I think, to share these stories with you, to see what's out there in the public marketplace, what goes on outside our little bubble from time to time, to make sure, we're continuing to be on the right path. Could you fight it? Could you make a claim against the real estate agency? Look, potentially seek legal advice, of course, but, in this matter, it's a quick and easy fix in my mind. You got to get on with it, move on, make sure you are partnered with property management groups. They're going to help you maintain, keep you safe, hold that property for a longer period of time, and just help you guide you making better decisions. That's what it's about. Getting more information on the table, I think, is really, really key to this sort of stuff, because the wrong property manager, as we say, will put you guys in court, which we don't want. I think everyone here is pretty clear they don't want in this space. So, bit of a short story this morning, team, that I found. I thought it was interesting. Hope you guys found it too. Any questions, pop in the chat for me. Anyone had that experience? Be good to get a bit of a snapshot of your experience. Hopefully you don't have any in that space. Hopefully no one here has gone down that path. But I've always, look after yourselves, team, because one thing I've learned after 14 years, and that story just alerts me to it, is your property manager can certainly have an influence on, what your future rent growth looks like. It can certainly have an influence on how long you hold the property for. And, as we sort of say here, you want to check that fear from fact scenario is always super important. All right, team, I think that's about me. Done for the day, done for the morning, not the day. I wish the day. We're just getting started. Chris says PM space is a fairly high turnover from what I heard. Yes, you hear correct, Chris. It is hard to find, a property manager that's got good experience, knowledge, education, skill set, all that combined. It's a really tough space. Not just, in my world, but of course, around the country, certainly. So from when I started 14 years ago to now, certainly the time frame of the length of a property manager or the tenure of a property manager has certainly tightened in that time frame. So yes, certainly, as Caroline says, good ones are worth their weight in gold. So team, that's my reminder for you this morning. Have a think about what your current property management groups are doing. Any questions, sing out as always. That is me. Team, you guys have a lovely Wednesday. As I say, if you're around Melbourne, Brisbane tonight, please jump in the mentoring group, reach out to your advisor, your strategist. Let me know. I'll get you the link. Come along. There's going to be a range of people in the 6-star team, and there'll be a pop-up mentoring somewhere near you sometime over the next little while. So that's it, me team. That's it. I will let you guys go. Enjoy your Wednesday. See you guys soon, team.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-star team here at positivementor.com.au.